Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I am so happy to have you here today. Very exciting video in store for you. King Gary, King Pokemon himself, doing yet another video with me. I cannot wait for you guys to watch this. So we're going to dive right into it. All right, everyone, welcome. We have the incredible King Pokemon himself, Gary, joining us for this wonderful conversation we're going to have. How are you doing, Gary?
Oh, I'm doing very well, Hillary. It is such an honor to be back on with you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you always. So one of the main topics we want to talk about today is trying to restore positivity into collecting. There's so much negativity. It seemed like it came out of nowhere. Just overnight. It's just collecting used to be such purely a joyous a thing to do, and it's just all this negativity is just swamping Pokemon. It seemed like it happened overnight.
You know, I agree with you because being in the hobby since the late 90s, I've never seen anything like this. And I've always been out there and tried to be a positive influence to the hobby, always tried to push the hobby forward, always communicated with people and tried to be friendly with people. And I was never a much of a YouTuber, or I don't think I started Instagram until 2 years ago, but that was only because I didn't understand it. I didn't know how to do it or what
Same.
to do. Yeah, but I was always there. I was always there available. I'd be on every day on phone calls for an hour or two or three having to do with Pokemon. And so, I've been through the gamut. I've almost never taken a break. So for 22 years, I've been there daily.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen what's happening now happen then. In fact, it was so much fun. To me, it feels like it was just so much fun before, where I look forward to the next thing, whether it was a little card shop appearance or if it was a little eBay sale or something like that. It was all fun. It was all fun to do. Or wait, the anticipation of waiting for a package to return,
Yeah.
a package to come in, and running out, looking in the door, looking on the stoop and seeing if there was anything there, and sending in cards, to PSA, and with the anticipation of waiting to get those cards back. I mean, it was just fun. And without that, who knows how long even I would have lasted. And I'm not the type, really to shy away. And so, but what's gone on this last couple years has been disappointing. It's been every time the negative stuff gets being put out there, that's something that person could have put out positive stuff that might have initiated some kind of a change.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with people having disagreements and feeling differently, because certainly we do. I mean, you and I, we love each other, but we have our differences,
absolutely. Oh yeah.
And I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. We're two different people.
Right.
I mean, what if our better halves, what if we treated our better halves the way that, those people treat us or treat me?
Yeah, I can imagine.
We wouldn't be married very long, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is that it takes away time that can be used to be creative or to be more positive. Like for your channel, I know where you're going. I mean, I have followed close enough. I know where you're going, and you're gonna get there because of the steps forward. You're not going to be taking those steps backwards or eventually people get tired of those people. I call them negative Nancy's or Debbie Downers or something like that. Eventually, and also those people that do that to us, they're not our donors. They're nobody that's really helping the hobby or helping our charities or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But still, it takes away from something where they could actually be creating a change, a good, solid, positive change. And it certainly never, like we were talking about earlier, it never does any good. I mean, if somebody says something nasty about you, is that going to make you change?
No, certainly not. Not me.
I mean, I certainly not you or me, but
Yeah.
even other people, the only change they're going to make is to withdraw.
Yeah.
And to go back in the closet and just become, disassociated that way, still loving their hobby, still loving Pokemon and their sets and their cards and that, but not putting themselves out there. Everybody should be able to put themselves out there without any kind of criticism and if somebody makes a mistake, overlook it. I know recently with Michael Anderson, Unlisted Leaf.
Oh, yeah.
With him, he made a mistake. A lot of people, were badly hurt by that. And I say it's a mistake. I know a lot of people say it's not really a mistake, but I'm saying it was a mistake. But it was a mistake that because of his 8 years of good, solid, helpful content, it could have been overlooked. You know what I mean? That could have been overlooked. And I think it gets to the point where you're such a good influencer for so many years that when you make a mistake, it deserves to get overlooked. Now, if you do it too often, or if you gone to the dark side or something, then of course. But now I think Michael is back, and so he's putting some things out there, maybe on less personal basis. I wish he'd be. I love it when people are personal.
Yeah.
Are themselves. It's like you, not just doing a break every now and again, but also voicing your opinion on events and stuff like that. I think that's a big part of it, and this should be a big part of all the influencers. Those that just simply put out content and rip packs, that's at least for me, that's not as enjoyable.
Right. I agree. I want to get to know the person behind the packs. I want personality in there.
Mm-hmm.
You get attached to the person. I love YouTube. I love small YouTubers. I want to be somebody that can help people even start a YouTube channel. I tell them, all the time, don't be afraid to just go for your dreams and chase them. But when you look at some of the criticism that, you have faced, and even I have faced, it's like I get attacked for being a woman, for what I wear, what I look like, all sorts of things. And it doesn't hurt me, but it definitely hurts other people. And like you said, it makes them withdraw. And that breaks my heart, because I don't want people putting themselves out there and then just saying, I don't want to do that again. It hurt too much.
It also scares them. If they see that happening to you, they're going to be scared to get out there in the first place. They're going to think, well, I don't want to take a chance of somebody doing that to me. Even if they're not already an influencer and then backing off, it stops them from even wanting to get into it, because they think, well, I don't want to get treated like that, so I'm not even going to try. So yeah, good points.
Now, when you had your Pokemon Saves the World event, you received some criticism, and people really didn't focus on the positive.
Yes, that was interesting. It turns out, I don't want to say the final dollar amount, but it was very substantial. And it went to three causes. 1/3 of it was one that's close to our heart, which is autism. That was Twan's and my part of it. So there was a ton of positivity and great things that happened, but there was some slip-ups. And one of those slip-ups, I just really started seeing them yesterday and today, where people there were like 4 or 5 mailers. And 4 or 5 mailers done by, we didn't even know it. Steve and me and Dumb Money, we didn't even know it. But it was all going through Golden Auctions. This is an auction house that's supposed to know how to package a card, right? Especially a $10,000 to $40,000 card.
Yeah.
So, so we're certainly all in agreement that that's an absolute joke. The way those cards were packaged to the winners.
Yeah.
And it never would have happened if I had even known it was going on. I didn't have anything to do with Golden Auctions or with their shippers or anything like that. But had I known, I never would. And also it taught me a lesson, because next time I'm involved in something like that, I'm going to start paying better attention to the peripheral things that are happening,
Yeah.
knowing that it's going to affect the overall picture or the overall success of the event.
Mhm.
And it could affect donations down the road for the next event or something like that. So, and also it gave the people that wanted something, you know, stupid to say, it gave them something to jump all over and then just you know, drill me. I saw quite a few memes out there that just popped up, you know, criticizing me for what happened with those few mailers. And even though I agree with them, I don't even mind taking the heat, because you know what, it's only a few people.
Yeah.
But the thing that did bother me was that those same people didn't talk about the positive side of that event. They didn't say, yeah, Gary should have been more in tune with what was going on with shipping, or it should have been involved with golden auctions or something. But the event was a smashing success. Go to Gary's Instagram. You can see the check presentations, because I put them all on there.
Yeah,
and talking a little bit about the organizations and that. And they didn't bring a positive thing at the end, which is something that we try to do, where you're going to criticize somebody, okay, if they deserve the criticism. In this case, I certainly didn't very much deserve it, I don't think.
No, you certainly don't. You're not the one that packaged them and put them in the box. That's the part that's awful.
And also, you would think the second biggest auction house in the United States would know how to package a $10,000 card, right?
Yes, I have to agree with you on that. But yeah, they're making it seem like you shipped it yourself like that.
Yeah, I know. But if they had criticized the shipping, instead of putting blame on me specifically, but criticized the shipping, which was warranted, absolutely warranted, and I'm absolutely in agreement with. But if they also said, but we also did this, and this on a positive note, that would have made whatever few viewers they have, it would have made them, not so angry. And I think a lot of this is anger. And I know one of the things that you're trying to get across is, why so much negativity and not more positivity. And I think it's because some people just want to make other people angry or and it just hurts the hobby and it discourages people. And like you said earlier, this is seriously a new thing. This wasn't happening before.
I remember 3 years ago just buying the cards and opening them and just being happy to just open them. There wasn't so much the financial aspect because, of course, Pokemon just had this skyrocket in value. I liked it more when there was less of a financial aspect to it.
There's what happened with this spike, was unprecedented. No question about that. But I think if you look on a scale from 1999 till now, there's always been a gradual increase, a few little dips, but a gradual increase. And then boom, what happened when the start of the pandemic.
Right.
I mean, that went crazy and everything went crazy and we all went crazy. And for me, for somebody who doesn't like to sell anything, it didn't, I didn't benefit from it on the one side or benefit from it on the other side. I didn't benefit from it in any way at all. And yet I had to, I felt bad for people couldn't get cards. I loved videos people put out with alternatives, trying to saying, listen, this too shall pass. There's those shelves are going to fill up again. They already are, and they're going to be really filling up soon. This is going to just find some other way, improvise on what you want to do with the hobby. Maybe go over the Japanese early sets are very reasonably priced.
Yes.
And yet it's the same artwork. The paper quality is better. I recommended that to a lot of people, them saying, listen, we can't afford this stuff anymore. And I say, well, maybe move on to something else, find a different part of the hobby that you enjoy. And then believe me, 4 or 5 months from now, you'll be able to pick back up where you left off.
Yes,
And
it's
it
temporary.
did. That is happening, and it's going to happen even more. I just hope at the same time that that negativity goes down as those shelves fill up.
I sure hope so. I mean, I understand people's frustrations with the inflated prices, even for stuff that's still in print, the scalping. You know, one thing I like to do is I like to take my bulk and make little repacks for kids in the neighborhood and just give them to them and put little stickers and fun facts. And it's all I can really do to help, you know, help the kids have a love for Pokemon. And
I love that. And that's gonna create a new generation of Pokemon fans,
oh
stuff
yeah.
like that.
And, you know, the parents tell me they're frustrated. They come to me, they say, you know, you do YouTube, where do you get the cards? I said, I'm lucky if I can get cards, to be honest. And I say, you know, this is all I can do for you guys. But they're so happy and so thankful, especially the kids. And I remember being a kid, opening that pack, and that would make my week, just one pack. And the commons were special, the uncommons are special. And if you got a holo, oh, forget it. You'd be looking at that thing for months.
Yes, yes, I know. I remember feeling that way too with those early sets.
Mhm.
I remember I was more fascinated with the Kadabra than I was the Alakazam, even though the Alakazam was the holo. But just the look on the Kadabra and the stance of that Kadabra, even though it was non-common, you know, I just enjoyed that more. So yeah, I very much feel that way. Feel that way also with these, you know, with the cards. And I know that the kids really must enjoy that. I had a message today from a guy who met me at one of the recent conventions, one of the recent Dallas conventions. And he brought 4 students from their little kids from their Pokemon club at school. And he brought them. And I was able to give him a few little giveaway stuff, you know, Gary pins and, you know, things like that. And he contacted me today. And I just thought of this because of what you said. And he said that his entire Pokemon club has grown to 30 kids. And that's an after school club for elementary age children, right?
Oh, fun.
So I told him, I said, well, and I'm not supposed to announce this, but I'm going to. One of the conventions that are coming up is going to be in Dallas again at the end of May. And I'm absolutely going to be there. And he's going to be, and I told him, it's the first week of summer school for those kids. Mm-hmm. Organize them to all come to the show. I'll take care of all of their expenses. They can all come. And I said, and we'll set up a private meet and greet, you know, along with card packs and things to give away. And, you know, something like that is what improves the hobby. You know, something like that makes these kids happy, and instead of saying, you know, something bad or something negative, think of something positive to do. And so what you said you're doing, yes, absolutely. If every single person watching you, you know, would find some way, you know, get to their elementary or junior high school, you know, just bring in, we all have bulk, right?
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, bring it to the schools, you know, give it away, do a little private classroom assembly, you know, just, you know, bringing joy. There's so many ways that we can make people happy. Let's do that.
Yeah, I feel like that's more enjoyable to me sometimes than opening the cards, is making the kids happy, you know?
Yes.
You know, speaking of cards, there's a new series coming out, D-Spirits. I would love to hear your opinion on that. I know I saw pictures of you, you know, handling some of the cards at the collection.
Yeah. You know, like you know, there's only so much time for we only have so much time, especially when we take care of a special needs child, especially alone. You know, like, you know, Twan is a school teacher, so you know, I have to do it a lot. We only have so much time to, you know, to explore new things and stuff like that. But I wanted to say, Sterling, who is, you know, the originator of D-Spirits, what an absolute sweetheart he is.
He truly is.
We have met in person. We've had conversations. I just love him to death.
I do too.
In fact, he's one of the guys that at the end of one of our last shows, that he was at, we were there together, before they locked the doors, he came up to me, gave me a big hug, and I was just so appreciative. And I mean, I'm just so proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
And because let me tell you something, I love young people that accomplish stuff, young people that have a passion for something, and they put in the work. They make their mistakes, they improve on their dreams, and they're going to get there. And I'm telling you something, I'm not an expert on D spirits, but I could not root for anybody harder than I do for Sterling, because I mean, he's a real treasure. And as I get time to dig in more into D spirit, I do have some, but as I get time to really dig into it, I'm going to. And if for no other reason, it's just because I want him to succeed so bad.
Oh, yes. I feel the same way. He really is a genuinely good person. Yes. And, he was taking the risk, putting himself out there, not knowing if people would like it. And I am just so happy that just way more people than I expected got on that Kickstarter. And I was thrilled to see that. I was just like, yes, I'm glad people are recognizing and appreciating that this is such a well thought out, put together potential series here coming down the road. And I'm excited to see what the future brings for D spirits.
Yeah, I am too.
We'll sit back and wait.
I couldn't root harder than I am, just hoping that he's successful, just because I love him so much. He's just a great person. For sure. But something tells me that his product, just might be great also. So
I think it is. I personally think it is. I have confidence in it.
Right.
Oh, so what is next on our agenda here? Oh, PSA. We got to talk about that.
This is such a difficult one for me. I've been involved. Now, PSA, I believe they opened their doors in 1993. In 1995, I became a member and then a consulting member with Pokemon, a few years later with the Japanese promos. And so needless to say, I've been a proud, steady supporter of PSA for 25 years. And I mean, I have behind me a poster that Joe Orlando, the president, he was president for 20 years at PSA, where he signed a poster as a joke, signed a poster for me saying, "Hi, Gary, thanks for your participation in PSA." And yet we were good friends, and yet it was all a joke, because as if anybody would want his autograph. But anyway, I supported PSA. Honestly, there were two people involved in Pokemon being a PSA game, and that was me. This was in 2002. Me and Birdman, Eddie Brenneschultz. Birdman, who a lot of people don't know him. He rarely puts himself out there for pictures or anything. But him and I spent hundreds of hours on the phone about Pokemon, things that we can do during downtimes. And him and I decided that card grading with Pokemon, was a good idea. And so we went with PSA. And back then you could type in PSA Pokemon and you would find 20 listings.
Wow.
And they were all me and him, right? There was no, there was no PSA Pokemon in that. Well, needless to say, that changed, but it changed because of us. So that shows the kind of support, that I've put into PSA.
Oh, yeah.
And then for this to happen, what is happening is so disappointing to me. I'm recently, Steve Sloan, who was the subsequent president after Joe Orlando, while they were still a public company, with Collectors Universe, he went to Steve Aoki and told him, he said, "Why doesn't Gary like me?" He said to him. And Steve said, "Well, I don't know." And so I tried to get in touch with him, saying, listen, it's not that I don't like you. You know, it's nothing personal. Why wouldn't I like anybody? Right.
Yeah. Right.
I said, I'm critical of the way that PSA is being run now. It's, you know, that started, you know, like a year and a half ago or something. And so I said, I was critical of that because I'm kind of old school. I believe that if you're in business and I'm your customer and I have money in my hand, especially if you're a public company, right? You know, where you have shareholders and stuff. And I'd say, you know, here, Hillary, take my money, take my money. And you say, no, we're busy. You know, we can't be, you know, we have to close down for a while, you know, like that. What kind of a way is that to run a business? I was, right. I mean,
right.
How can you say no, you know, to money, especially when you have shareholders?
Right.
You know? So I was critical about that point. I don't care if you have to hire 1,000 people in a month. You don't have to be a Harvard graduate to grade Pokemon cards, or any cards. You know, a month of training will get you there. I know very well. And they could have hired 1,000 people, got that backlog all taken care of, and then then there would not have been a CGC. PSA built CGC.
Well, yeah.
Had to shut down, and CGC came in with a card side. Of course, they did comics before. It came on the card side, and they built a nice little card business.
Yep.
Because of PSA's management, you know, being poorly managed. And again, that's not personal. I'm not being mean. I'm not even necessarily being right, but that's the way I felt. And especially being a 25-year supporter of PSA.
Yeah, somebody who's so involved with it.
And I've graded, I don't know how many cards, Hillary, but I mean, I probably wouldn't want to know. I've graded so many cards that I wanted them to do better, you know, of course, because the one thing you don't want to do is mix companies in your sets, you know, have a few BGS cards, a few CGC, a few you'd like that to be consistent regardless of who you go with. So anyway, that's how it, up to this point, how I feel about, you know, PSA is I don't know if you want to get into this part yet about Robograding.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's a great way to jump into that. I think we should. I would love to, you know, talk about that. I know you're going to do a video on that. Yeah,
it's somewhat segues into that because somebody DM'd me today and they said they asked me about, you know, because I put a post up with 10 cards that I'm going to send to Robograding, which is I always get those 3-letter alphabet names mixed up. So what is it? AGS, automatic grading.
AGS, yes.
AGS. And I should know because I've talked to those guys. Actually came to visit me here in Las Vegas to show me their equipment and how they do it. That was back in March, before they had much going at all, and I loved it. I got to admit it. So anyway, they.
All right, so we got cut off there for a second, but you said AGS, you met with them in March. Let's get right back into it.
Yes, yeah, they, I think what I was doing, I was trying to, you know, segue in from the PSA difficulty, you know, to this. And today I made a post of 10 cards, all very, very nice cards, you know, good cards in the Pokemon hobby. That I sent to AGS to grade, and they're all high-end cards, right? You know, like Gold Star Charizards, a couple of them, and things like that. So those 10 cards I pre-graded myself when they're all pretty much mint out of packs, and I pre-graded them and sent them off to PSA last year, along with 5 other cards, 15 cards. PSA upcharged me. They wanted to upcharge me about almost $6,000. I think $5,400 in upcharges.
Oh my goodness, how is that justifiable?
For you, and just between you, me, and your fans, I got to tell you, in my 25 years of grading with PSA, I've never spent over $10 for a single card. Yeah. And I've graded the biggest cards in the hobby, right? So I just could not adjust to that, right? So what I did was I told them 5 of them, got exact grades that I was expecting, or, pretty close. One got upgraded a little bit than what I expected. But anyway, either way, those 5 I got back graded, and I told them the other 10, I just simply can't pay the upcharges. And so instead of them being nice to a 25-year member and supporter of theirs and saying, that's okay, Gary, we'll just send you the 15 cards. We won't charge you the upcharges on those other 10, right? Yeah. They cracked them open, those 10, and sent me back raw cards. So, I mean, after they graded them, they cracked them open. I got the results. I know what the grades were. And then they sent them back to me, 5 graded cards and 10 raw cards. So what? they couldn't even be nice enough to do that, right? Well, they didn't have to do that. So I would have done that if it was my company, right? So especially for somebody that is a big customer, but I don't know, they were just following their rules. So anyway, I got those cards back. So those 10 cards, I know what my initial pre-grades were a year ago when I sent them in. I knew what I was expecting. I know what PSA graded them, even though they got cracked and sent back. Yep. And so those exact same 10 cards I'm sending to Robograding, I'm going to call them. Okay. To Robograding, which is a 100% AI grading service. There's no people looking at cards. It's 100% computerized with laser, and I don't know. I can't even. I don't understand it all. Right. I can't imagine how it works. But now, when those cards come back to me, those are like $20 to $30, right? Mm-hmm. PSA to sending cards today, the minimum is $150, which is insane. Other ones, otherwise you can't send them in. So anyway, when I get the cards back from Diamond Service, from automatic grading, AGS, yeah. See, I'm so bad. Okay. I hope they don't dock me grades because I'm blown. So anyway, when I get those cards back, I'm going to do a video showing my initial pre-grade, what PSA grade them, and what Robograding grades them. Okay, to show a proper, exact, so our fans can look at it and maybe learn something, or maybe find an option that'd be good for them. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them cracked, those 10 cards. Now, if they all get 10s, that won't be easy, because that's a lot of money. But what my goal is to crack those 10, and then they're going to be at the first show, Collecticon at the end of February, and then I want to give them to them again, because they'll be grading on site at the convention. Okay. And then have them grade them over again, just so I can be confident that the grades are the same. Because you see, if it's run through the computer, those grades should be the exact little data points and numbers should be exactly the same. It's not me looking at it one day, after getting bit by my dog or something, and then going in there angry. These should be exactly the same. And then I'm going to do a video showing that comparison. They told me that if they grade a card, then they regrade it, it always comes up with exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. As long as there hasn't been an issue, it doesn't get dinged in between or something. Right.
So that's a very good
That's my goal. That's my goal,
yeah.
to what to do with them. But I think I'm being fair. Even though I so much like their process, and they were so nice to come out here to Vegas and show it to me, bringing all this equipment and renting a conference room for me and a couple friends, and explaining it and asking for some tips and that. And in fact, I'm the one who named it
Really?
Robograding. Yeah, because when they came, they actually listened, to me. I might have had 8 bad ideas and 2 good ideas, but those 2 good ideas they went with, and which I appreciated. But one of them was all these 3-letter alphabet grading companies. Why? So I said, why not a name like Robograding or something?
Yeah.
And they said, wait a second. And Alex, the owner, went on his phone, this and that, and he immediately patented or got Robograding, got the website Robograding, and did what you had to do to lock up that name right after I said it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I anytime I see Robograding anywhere, doggone it, I did that. Right?
They owe you credit for that. That's for sure.
Right. Uh-huh.
Well, you announced it here, so now everybody knows.
Right. And to be fair, I wanted to let everybody know they never graded anything for free for me. They never gave me a nickel. They did one thing, which was like a $30 coin. See, I don't understand the crypto coins and all that stuff. But they have a coin, and he wanted me to see it, and he wanted to show me what it was all about. So he sent this little bit of a 16-cent coin that added up to $20, $40. And so I have gotten nothing. I'm not at this point, I'm not a supporter of theirs. I want to wait till I get those grades back and check it out. See how good are they, right?
I think it's great experiment. I think it's wonderful to genuinely test it out and then resubmit to see if it's really that accurate. I think that's a fantastic experiment.
And the good thing is that computer is not going to favor anybody. It's not going to favor me over anybody else, because otherwise you send it to these other companies, they might give you all 10s just so Gary's happy with it, and which is the last thing I would want.
Absolutely.
I want, always have wanted only what it deserves, because someday that card might go to you, and then you look at that card and you say, this got a 9, this is no better than an 8 or so. I would never want that to happen to anybody, right? It's happened to me. It's probably happened to all of us, where a grade the number doesn't seem to fit the condition. Well, with the artificial intelligence grading, that's no longer an issue. And the other good thing about it, man, it sounds like I'm a spokesperson for them. and I'm
it could happen.
Yeah, and I'm totally not. They like to call me a founder, in quotes, a founder, because when they were trying to get started, they came to me, and I was so supportive, and like I am with all these people that are doing, trying to create something. I appear to be supportive, and I try to help. And so they put me down as a founder, which I guess kind of helped their credibility a little bit. But depending on how these grades and how the job they do and how far they've advanced in this 7-8 months, I'll be proud. I'm already proud that I came up with that name.
Yeah.
I'll be proud to be a supporter of theirs, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. If they can't get there. But I'll tell you what, very, very bright people, very smart people. Michael is the name of their tech guy. Yeah. I mean, he is unbelievable. He is so smart, I can hardly carry a conversation with him.
And you're very talkative.
Thank you.
Surprised by that.
That's what Twan says.
Oh yeah, so I am so looking forward to seeing the outcome of that. I'm probably going to want to do a similar test as well to see if that works.
Yes, yeah, I would. And also their turnaround times, since they're just getting started, are short. Maybe 20 days or like $30 for 20 days or something. But just as a test, I recommend everybody do that. Don't go by what anybody says, or, check it out yourself. You cannot PSA grade things, and you can't. CGC is taken forever now too, and Beckett's. Give these other guys a try, and if it's no good, if it's no good for you, then it's no good for you. That's fine. But I can tell you this, Hillary, I don't see for the future. It's 100% the future.
I think so. Yeah.
It's too bad it takes people out of the equation. That's too bad. But I mean, the computer, those graphics and those laser beams and things, they don't make mistakes. So,
right. And I appreciate that more, knowing that the grade is a genuine grade. It's not influenced by anybody's opinion. Oh, well, maybe that spec isn't so bad, I'll still give it a 10. No, that is the genuine grade you're going to get if this technology is that accurate.
There you go. Yeah, that's how I feel also. And once how many times has somebody emailed me saying, can you send me close-up pictures of the back, or can you send me 4 pictures of each quadrant on the back and all that? But actually, they're just being smart. They want to make sure they don't miss anything. They want to make sure that it deserves the grade it got, because let's face it, many don't deserve the grade on there. And so I think the future is going to be this, the artificial intelligence, and also the future is pretty close. It's coming, and I think it's coming soon. PSA and Beckett's, they already have a little bit of this AI put into their system now, but they would have to trash multi-million dollars worth of infrastructure to go 100% AI. Yeah. And it doesn't make financial sense for them, I guess. Mm-hmm. Where Robograding, what they're doing, they're starting from AI. They had nothing before it, and they know what they're doing, and hopefully it works. The lasers can read the paper, so you can't get counterfeits by them, and let's just hope that it's as promising as it appears. And you know what? If it's not, then it's not. Then we move on. But I think eventually it's going to go. It's going to go where you put your card in a machine, and then it's going to come out the other end in a slab and flip it up, and you can go online to see exactly the 4 corners of the front, the 4 corners of the back, and see exactly why did that card get the grade it got. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I can't see that not being the way of the future. Maybe it's past my time, when I'm gone, but
I think it's coming. I think within the next few years, that'll be the mainstream norm, because I've personally purchased a lot of cards off of eBay and slabs, and I say, this is not an 8, this is not a 9, this is definitely a 7, or, oh my goodness, this card has a dent in it, why is it an 8?
because they got overlooked. Yeah, how often does that happen? You send in a card you think is mint, but it has a little binder dent you can't see, mm-hmm. Without unless closely inspected, and then it comes back a 6, and well, what? Yeah. how'd that get a 6? Because you don't see. And then sometimes the grader will miss it. Yep. They'll give a 10 to a card with a little binder ring dent, and it'll get a 10. And then they sell that card, and the buyer looks at it and says, but there's a dent in this card. This is no better than, So the AI grading, that would eliminate those problems. The only bad thing is it does put people out of work. Mm-hmm. But maybe they can expand the business enough and get more cards graded, have them in maybe even better positions, because the graders make next to nothing. Yeah. I know very well.
Yeah, being so involved with PSA, I just can't believe that PSA tried to charge you that, being one of the, that just blows my mind. I didn't even know that. That hurts me.
up charges, they call it. See, for 20 years, they never upcharge Pokemon cards, but now they have the thing in place where as soon as it's graded, it pops up automatically on a computer screen. This card is worth 1,000 instead of 500. So you're going to get upcharged what it would cost you to grade $1,000 card. But this is the bad thing, Hillary. if you overestimate what your card will get, let's say you think it's going to get a 10, so you put it down as $1,000 card, and it comes back an 8, you're still paying that fee for $1,000 card. They're not lowering it. They'll raise it up, but they're not lowering it. So
that is a terrible practice. It's just awful. I haven't submitted anything to them. I haven't, and I won't. I bought plenty of slabs. I just won't submit to them, and I continue to keep my eyes out for other options. And I'm glad, like I said, that you're testing this out. I'm going to do the same.
Yeah.
And I think the viewers should do the same. Test out AGS, Robograding. Let us know what you think in the comments. We'll be reading them.
Yeah, watch what we do. See how well we do, and then test it out yourself. And maybe that'll be the answer, as far as how much it costs you and how long it takes to get it back. Waiting a year, Hillary, the one of the fun things about grading cards is the anticipation of getting them back. Right? You send your cards in, you're so excited, you check their website every day to see if you've progressed along the grading line, and it's so much fun. But the way it's been now for this last year and a half, where after a few months you suddenly don't care anymore. You lose that enthusiasm. You no longer check, and then it's 6 months, then it's 8 months, then it's a year, and it takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. And as somebody, me personally, I don't sell anything in my collection. I count on one hand the amount of times I've sold stuff.
Right.
I just cannot justify those prices because I'm not selling it. I feel like some people are grading because, I could sell it for $2,000. I just don't do that. I love my stuff. I enjoy collecting. It's stuff I want to keep forever. So there's definitely other options. We're investigating them.
That's right. And we're going to let everybody know as we go.
So another thing you want to talk about, you're in a new documentary.
Oh, this is super cool. This is
share.
Really cool. Yeah, there's a young man. His name is Morgan Fox, Fox. He's a documentary filmmaker. He's actually won awards at what do you call them? When people present all their movies and their documentaries to a show, and they
like a film festival, maybe.
Film festival. That's exactly right. Yeah, yeah. He's actually won awards for best documentary at a film festival. Big film festival. In other words, he's the real deal.
Okay.
And a really, really nice guy. I met him at one of the collecticons, again in Texas. I think it was in Houston or something. So yeah, you can look him up on IMDb. His name Morgan Fox. Anyway, he's doing a documentary on collectors, and it's a full length documentary, like an 80-minute, like an hour and a half, documentary. So this is a full feature-length documentary, and he made arrangements. He met me at Collecticon, just to meet me, just casual talk, and then he contacted me recently, just a month ago or so, and he said he wanted to come out and interview me for this documentary. And so I immediately went, I like to see who these people are, right? I immediately went into IMDb to see who he was. And I said, oh my God, this guy's the real deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so I made arrangements for him to come up, and he came here to Vegas along with a team. But, when you get these real professional directors and producers, it's not some guy with a flip phone,
Yeah.
I mean, he brought a whole team. Yeah, I know. He brought a whole team of guys with cameras and boom mics and all this crazy stuff. And I met him at the D Brews warehouse.
Okay.
Which I did a couple videos on that. One recently with Logan Paul, and then one for our Pokemon Saves the World Poke People party. on October 8th. And Darian D. Bruce was nice enough to let me use it for this. And so it ended up being a three location shoot. So we filmed there, and then we went over to the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, from our Pawn Stars episode.
Yes.
Yeah, they went over there and they interviewed me there, and then they had me walking and looking up at the sign, kind of melancholy. and then we came back to my house, and he brought in this big thing where they took pictures of cars with lighting and it was so cool. It was so cool because I'm used to this, right? One take Gary, they call me. I can't make a thumbnail, and so when I see something like that, I think it's so cool. And, and so he was just so nice to work with. And I say that like I'm a real actor, which of course I'm far from, as if I've worked with other directors, right?
Well, you're one of the biggest people in the Pokemon scene and the collecting scene. It's like you meet so many people, but that must be such an experience to deal with a real producer like that.
And you know what? It's really humbling. I got to tell you, because I'm just a regular guy who loved a hobby, with his kids for years, and now all of a sudden I have boom mics and all this equipment all over. And I honestly, I don't deserve that. I totally don't deserve that. But it's nice. It's very, very flattering. And he was just sweet as could be. And especially considering the work he's done, I ended up going back on some of his documentary items, which people should do, because when you meet somebody, it's fun to get their story if you don't have time to get it from them. And so, something else, he asked Twan, my wife, at Autism Instruct. She came with our little girl there to the warehouse while I was being interviewed, and he asked if he could ask her a question or two, and I said, oh, certainly. Yeah. So she came, and he absolutely fell in love with her. He ended up spending a half hour, asked about 15 questions or something. And so she might be on the documentary too, which if they cut me out, that's fine. I sure hope she's on there though. And then he's going to be traveling around the country. He's going to Syracuse, New York, for the only large card shop in the country that's owned and operated by girls.
Oh, wow.
And that's true. And I'm a big supporter of that, like like a lot of people know. And that's great. I'm looking forward to the documentary just to see their story in that. And so he's doing a complete thing on collectors and outside and what they do outside of collecting. And I know it's going to be really well done. I'm just so excited to see how it turns out. And I hope I don't end up all over the cutting floor, but that's okay.
I cannot wait to see that. Obviously relevant to my interests.
Right. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes.
Oh, that is so cool. If I ever wind up in Syracuse, I'll have to check out that card shop too.
Absolutely. Me too. Yeah, me too. I wish we would have a convention somewhere in New York, that part, so I could get over. I would love that too. Maybe I could mention something here at this point, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. Please do.
Yeah. I am trying to work out something, and this is something I wanted to ask you about, and that is I have always been a major supporter of all the girls in our hobby, because they, like we've discussed privately, they get such a raw deal because the majority of guys are creeps, basically.
I know.
And it really, and they're offensive, and the stuff that some of these girls have to put up with, the comments and it drives them right back into the closet, like we talked about before. They put themselves out there. They want to share what they love, just like we love our hobby. Right. They want to share the same thing, and yet they get pushed away. And you know, something like this happened with little Bonnie, you know, Bo Dangers.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Where it actually brought her to having mental difficulties in that, because
Oh,
she loved what she was doing and she cared so much for Pokemon, and she wanted to be an influence in the hobby, and
yeah.
yet she would take so much garbage from these idiots, and it's so I've been always tried to go the other direction, you know, being that I promise you, Hillary, there has never been any of our girls in the hobby that have asked me to do an interview that I've said no to. Whether it was one follower and one subscriber, it made absolutely no difference in that. And then I always tried to tell them, you know, that if you get anybody really picking on you or being crummy to you, especially disrespectful to you, you know, I'm old school, older guy, right? Being disrespectful to the ladies, just remember that, you know, King Pokemon is on your side. And
That's right.
and that should make up for a lot of those others.
It
And
does for
and so
me.
and so what I'm trying to do, what I have, my goal is right now is to have a series of YouTube interviews, and that is, you know, doing one-on-one interviews, you know, with the girls' perspective, or maybe if I could talk Tuan into doing it, right? You know,
Yeah.
just discussing where I would be interviewing you about your honest experience in the hobby, and what, you know, you've gone through, you know, as a result of being out there in this hobby, and then, you know, the next week or a couple days later or whatever, you know, then I was hoping to do you first. I mean,
Oh,
that's what I
that'd be
wanted to tell
great.
you.
Yeah.
And then after that, you know, doing one of the other girls, many that are known, you know, known to a lot of people, and just to get that perspective, thinking that maybe if we understood better, you know, what you go through and what they go through, you know, maybe that'll make those who are fringe jerks, you know, will
Yeah.
get them on the right side, you know, to realize that, listen, this hobby is going to live or die by that. I really believe that we need the every single enthusiast to be a part of this. And that
Yeah.
includes all the girls, that includes the younger people. I mean, that even includes some of the old guys. You know, I know there's nobody as old as me doing this, but but even some of that, you know, we all need to be included. It's really important for the health of our hobby. And so I want to be the one to set this up and to do these interviews, one-on-one interviews, you know, where I'm doing the interview or Tuan is doing the interview, asking the questions of the girl influencers in our hobby. Because I think if the community understood better, I believe that, you know, that could initiate some change.
That's an
And
incredible idea.
and at the
Yeah.
very least, what that would do is it might embarrass those people from, you know, coming across and doing that, you know, when they realize that the community is not on their side. You know, anybody that likes their nasty comments and stuff like that, that's a minority, and they're not the ones we care about. But maybe by understanding you better,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to make this hobby better. I really believe that. And so anyway, that's what I wanted to announce and
That's
to
the best idea.
tell you
It's
about. Thank you. Thank you.
100%. I think that would really open people's eyes, because I feel like so much of it goes overlooked. Not everybody reads the comments. Not everybody realizes how it can affect other people. And I think that is a truly good idea that would really probably stop a lot of it.
I think it would. I think it would embarrass those people from doing too much of it.
Yeah.
And because sometimes, you know, we criticize what we don't understand, and
Mm-hmm.
too many people don't understand what some of you know, you guys go through. And you know what? I mean, I'll say it right here. I would even do it in collaboration with you. You know, if there was some way that you and I could do this together, you know,
Yeah.
where every week we would get, you know, one of the girl influencers up, you know, and talk with them. I just want it to get done. I don't even care if it doesn't include me. You know,
Oh, I wanted to include you. I mean, you're, like I said, one of the most influential collectors in the Pokemon space. And now you've branched out to MetaZoo and you're just one of the most prominent collectors. Your voice is huge in the community. And
well,
if
maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, we have to. Yeah. I think this is
if not just you having you, but having you be a part of it.
I would love to. I would 100%. I think that is a fantastic idea. And that should hopefully help to restore some more positivity into the community. Because it all got started as this is my fun time, my safe space, my happiness. And it's just amazing that so many people could bring negativity into it. You know, why I reached out to you about this video is just you truly enjoy collecting. You love the hobby. You love people. You love all the joys that it brings. And I couldn't think of a better person to make this video with. And hopefully we can be a positive change.
Well, let's figure out a way to do that, okay?
Definitely.
Where on the screen, it'll be you and me, and then each week or each two, whatever you can do, you know, have a third person on there with you and I, and sometimes in place of me, maybe with Tuan or something, because again, I don't even care if it's me or not, but like you said, it might help to be me for a while, and then we'll get a third person up, you know, to talk with us, and we ask questions, you ask questions of them, and we get to understand what what this is really like and what this is really all about. And I know with your goal now, you know, being into creating as much positivity as possible and negating the negativity, this could be a big step towards that.
Yes, huge step, huge step. I think that is the best idea. I am like moved to bits that you want to do that. Yeah.
Let's talk about that together, and we'll do it.
That sounds good to me. Now, to end this video off, let's talk about your convention schedule here. We want everybody to know where they can come and find you.
Yeah, well, for now, they're putting the schedule together. There's for 2022, there's going to be, I believe, 6 collecticons. They're going to be all over the country, all in different places in the country. They haven't announced them yet. You know, like the first one, Florida. Orlando. End of February.
Oh my God.
They haven't announced it yet, but there's going to be 6 of them, and they're going to be even all the way from the East Coast out to the West Coast, and 2 out here, you know, where I live on the West Coast, and they're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and better. We already have some people that have never ever done a convention before that, you know, and everybody knows that are committed to coming, because Collecticon has just gone out of sight. There's been 3, and it's just doubled in size all 3 times, because we concentrate on collectibles and we make it family friendly for kids. I say we because I feel like such a part of it, and because I've done all 3 as appearances, right? And so it's so good for the kids. And you know, the shows before were basically a bunch of old guys who walked down the aisle looking at 1950s baseball cards. You know, it's not really fun. But this the way that the Collecticon guys are doing it, you know, with 50-foot Pikachus and you know, with influencers like, you know, Leon Hart has done it with me, and Real Breaking Nate and Super Duper Danny, and then the interesting thing is, for these ones coming up, we've already got Ando, you know, Unlisted Leaf. He's going to come from Australia, and he's going to do some stuff with me at a couple of these Collecticons, and that's really cool, because being so far away, he hasn't been able to. And yes, he made a mistake, but he is beloved. I love him to death. I mean, 7 or 8 years of amazing content, you know, millions of followers, I mean, I'm excited. I've met him in person at Pokemon Worlds before, but I'm excited to, to get him out to a couple of these where we can sit next to each other, sign autographs, and take pictures and things. And then we're also going to be, just today, I got the wonderful Rusty Oakley, who's TCA Gaming, and got him. And he never does things because he is such a devoted family man with his 3 little girls. He doesn't want to leave them for any amount of time at all. Yeah. And he doesn't want to miss his church on Wednesdays and Sundays. And so he, doesn't do conventions and that. Well, we're having one in his neck of the woods. And so he's going to be attending that one, and everybody's going to get to meet him, get his autograph and talk to him. And then there's going to be quite a few others who have never attended who we're going to get to be there. And maybe Hillary, if I can talk to her.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be going next year.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to have you there anyway. Now you live exactly where?
In Connecticut.
Right. Yeah. So, that in those areas, it's super expensive. The convention centers and that are super expensive. And so, but I believe they're trying to work something out in that neighborhood. And so, we'll be talking about that too.
Oh yeah, no, I'm happy to go to Orlando next year. I mean, this year I had some things with my health, but next year I will be at Orlando. If they go to New York, I'm going to go to New York. So
yeah,
hopefully
in New York, that's for sure. Just too expensive. But the Orlando one is the biggest convention center in the country. It's in Orlando, like I said, where Disney World and Epcot Center is and all that. And if you could make it down for that, I mean, that would just be amazing.
I don't want to miss that one.
Oh, that'll be terrific. And that'll be the end of February. So
start looking at flights. I'll plan a week off of work.
yes. And privately, I'll talk to you more about that.
Yes, definitely. Well, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments. This has been a delight. And thank you again for taking the time to come and talk to me. I appreciate it as always.
Well, we have a date for next year anyway, a year from our first interview.
That's right.
Where we're going to do a review to see, how close we were to foretelling the future. So we'll do that. But I hope to see you in a couple months in Florida.
Yes.
And I certainly, I love being here. I wish we could do this every night. This is fun. And I hope that your followers, that they all enjoy this. And if they want more, we'll do more. We'll give them what they want.
Yes, we'll give the people what they want. And like you said, filming, interviewing other women in the industry, we're definitely going to be doing that. I'm so excited about that.
Please. Yes. Oh, me too.
All right, everyone. Bye for now and take care.
Bye-bye.